Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. This channel is about things that Joe Rogan covers. Tucker Carlson, Sean Ryan, Jordan Peterson at times, James O'Keefe at times, but mainly Joe Rogan. But it's also starting to become what things that Joe Rogan is going to speak about. Now, he's a little backlogged in his episodes, so he's probably not going to talk about this for a little while. I would say at least 5-6 days. So let's get into the Tesla truck that exploded in front of one of Trump's buildings, which is absolutely crazy. This was the first image that we started seeing, and I'm just going to give you a whole information dump. I'm going to start from what it looked like at the beginning to what people are saying near the end, because it's developed into something that none of us thought about when this first happened. So this was the first image, and it was just the actual truck just on fire, and people were hearing like fireworks. You hear that? People were hearing stuff like that, and it was very odd. People were just like, wow, look at the symbolism here. It's one of Elon's cars in front of Trump Tower. It's on fire. People just thought it was like some odd symbolism. Then people started speculating that it was intentional, and I'm just going to go through everything. So that was the first imagery that we saw, people just filming it there. I'm just going to show you some news clips and then a bunch of stuff on X and just show you guys what it developed into. Let's go.
We want to turn now to another breaking news story, and I'm going to caution you. We are following this developing story. We want to be clear that we do not know anything that ties what I'm about to say, that story, to what we've been talking about in New Orleans. This is just a separate story that we're learning about. Authorities are investigating a vehicle fire outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas that left one person dead, injured several others. We believe the vehicle in question is a Cybertruck. At a press conference this afternoon, authorities did not have any information on the cause of that fire. They said they have many unanswered questions. Here's some of what they said moments ago.
I know you're looking for a lot of answers, and ideally right now we just don't have a lot of answers. We're going to continue to work as hard as we can over the next 24 to 48 hours.
NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa is following this story and joins me now. So, Emily, we played that soundbite. What else do we know at this point about what happened in Las Vegas?
So I'll start with just kind of underscoring the outstanding questions at this point. There are still so many unknowns around the circumstances of the vehicle fire, including, was this mechanical, accidental, intentional? Authorities would not weigh in on that. But we know that fire and police in Las Vegas responded to the valet section just outside, as you can see on your screen, of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. That's on the northern end of the Las Vegas Strip, to a vehicle fire. The fire has since been put out, but they are encouraging people to avoid the area. We learned from authorities moments ago that 7 people sustained minor injuries, some transported to the hospital, and one person who had been in that Cybertruck, they did die. Now, looking at various videos posted to social media, you can see smoke billowing into the sky from a distance away. You can see the flames on your screen right there as well. Some people on social media describing hearing loud sounds and types of explosions, but we're still waiting for more information, and authorities say they expect to be able to share more information in the coming hours. It appears that it was, again, seeing on your screen, a Cybertruck. That is one of the newer vehicles from Tesla, Elon Musk's company. We know Elon Musk does have a position in the incoming administration under Donald Trump in his presidential administration. Kate.
All right. And Emily, what have we heard? Have we heard anything from the Trump organization since that was outside a Trump hotel?
So the Trump organization, as well as Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump, posting to social media saying they acknowledge the electric vehicle fire, also writing in part, the safety and well-being of our guests and staff remain our top priority. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Las Vegas Fire Department and local law enforcement. The FBI is now also involved with this. Also, the governor acknowledging that they are monitoring the situation.
So that's what they had at first. Slowly, people started looking into it more and more. Elon responded right away. He said, the whole Tesla senior team is investigating this matter right now. We'll post more information as soon as we learn anything. We've never seen anything like this. And again, at first, everybody's thinking, oh, it's an electric car. This is known to happen. But the fireworks kind of threw everybody off. Those loud sounds, that sounds just like fireworks. We all just heard fireworks as the new year rang in. So everybody was familiar with the sound happening. Elon Musk also said after that, we have now confirmed that the explosion was caused by very large fireworks and or a bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck and is unrelated to the vehicle itself. All vehicle telemetry or telemeter was positive at the time of the explosion. Very interesting as that developed. Again, Elon was first just looking at it like, let's make sure our car isn't absolutely garbage. Let's make sure the car, but in actuality, the fact that, and we'll get into it as the story goes, but the fact that the car was just sitting there and it didn't break the windows or the glass at the Trump Tower that it was at was actually due to the fact that the Cybertruck is bulletproof, and now people are speculating as well that it's bomb-proof. But again, they don't know if there was an actual bomb in there, but just the heavy dutiness of the entire Cybertruck actually made it so like the doors and everything didn't fly off and hit people. So pretty solid truck, I have to say. Let's get into the next clip.
Let's talk about Las Vegas, because this has been a sort of interesting development. The images of the Cybertruck parked outside the Las Vegas Trump property went viral. I think people thought it was an accident and then no one was hurt. And so there was a sort of bizarre symbolism, and that it was a Cybertruck, it was not Trump. As it's developed, it seems that this is being taken far more seriously. What have we learned about what authorities know and how they're investigating this?
Right, Chris. So according to the reporting of myself, my colleagues Andrew Blankstein and Kelly O'Donnell, right now, 3 senior U.S. law enforcement officials say that this explosion of a Tesla Cybertruck, kind of in the portico there where you saw that smoke rising from in front of Trump's property in Las Vegas, is being investigated, at least initially, as a potential act of terrorism, and that it was, quote, intentional. And there was a...
Let's talk about Las Vegas, because this is...
So that's what it began to develop into, a possible act of terror. Now you're actually going to hear the police force on the ground who's been dealing with this talk a little bit more about that. Let's get into it.
Very quickly thereafter that, the driver, who was the sole occupant of the truck, we saw what looked like maybe some sort of smoke, and then the truck exploded. Smoke was coming from inside of the truck after we noticed the flash and the explosion, and I'm going to show you that first video. That's the Cybertruck parked right in front of the doors. Can you play that again, Carlos? So the individual that was in that truck is obviously deceased. Still in the truck as we speak here today. Our fire department folks, Engine 12, a number of others, you'll hear from one of the fire chiefs here in just a moment, arrived very quickly along with my officers. And obviously we knew that we had a much larger event than just a vehicle fire. And so there's going to be a drone video that plays to my left again. You'll see as the fire initially, they covered it with the tarp to try to get it to go out. Once the fire went out through the suppression efforts of the fire department, you'll see some of the evidence in the back of the vehicle. So those are gasoline canisters. They are camp fuel canisters and large firework mortars. What I also would like you to pay attention to on that video, as you see that, it looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there. The fact that this was a Cybertruck really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet, because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump hotel were not even broken by that blast, which they were parked directly in front of. You can see that in the video there.
Yeah, so Benny Johnson actually he reposted that whole thing. Let me just show it here again. He reposted this and he said that this should be used as an ad for Cybertrucks. Now, as funny as that might be, again, like I brought it up before, it's true. It's pretty crazy that that happened. But again, I guess mortar fireworks are pretty serious, especially if there's multiple of them. Now, the thing is it an act of terror? Is it not? It could have just been some liberals who were upset, or, one, I'm not sure, it seems like there was one guy in the car. Maybe he just wanted to set off the fireworks. Maybe he was going to set them off and then run out and, just have it happen in front of there. Maybe that's what was going on. But, the fact that Trump has had pretty much 3 attempts on his life during this whole campaign that he's ran, you can't X out the fact that this person had malicious, deadly intent, which honestly, I think they did. And I'll show you why as the story develops a little bit more. Here's Patrick Bet-David just talking a little bit about it as well.
So in Vegas, there's a Tesla, truck parked outside of Trump Tower, one of the Trump hotels, which we stay at that hotel all the time. It's a great hotel. And you see this clip here. Is this the explosion, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see this one here. Go for it. And firework mortars exploded outside of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, killing the driver and injuring 7 people. Las Vegas Sheriff Kevin McMahill said the truck started to smoke, then exploded, and dramatic footage of the explosion shows bursts of multicolored fireworks shooting in multiple directions. Investigators are exploring if there are any links to the deadly New Orleans attack where 15 died. He noted, obviously, a Cybertruck, the Trump Hotel. There are a lot of questions that we have to answer. The FBI is investigating the incident as a possible act of terrorism. Special Agent Jeremy Schwartz said, I know everybody's interested in that word and trying to see if we can say, hey, this is a terrorist attack. That is our goal, and that's what we're trying to do. However, they have not found any evidence connecting the explosion to the Islamic State. Is this the fellow saying that, Rob? Is this the same thing that I just read or something else?
This clip right here is them discussing the evidence that was found in the back of the Cybertruck and why more people weren't injured when the Cybertruck
Let's watch
exploded.
this. Let's watch.
So I already showed you guys that. I just wanted to have Patrick Bet-David give his take. I think there's something else where, let me just see here.
Yesterday, this wasn't a vehicle thing. He said it's either fireworks and...
Okay, well, I just want to get to what Patrick Bet-David was saying. Maybe he said it in the past clip that I was playing, but he was talking about how they can't link it to terrorism because they're unsure if there's links to the Islamic State. I think we can all agree that the fact that it's not linked to the Islamic State, if that's what it is, I don't know. It doesn't have to be for it to be an act of terrorism. There are many... What Antifa does are acts of terror. There's domestic terrorism that happens all the time that has nothing to do with Islam whatsoever, right? And I'm not ruling that out. I'm just saying that happens all the time. You know what I mean? We see people burning flags. There is reports of people, just regular white American guys screaming death to America because they're on the left and they don't like Donald Trump and they don't like the fact that communism isn't sweeping through the nation as they think it should because they think it's a good thing. There's tons of that. So, I don't understand why there has to be a connection to the Islamic State for this to be seen as terrorism. 100%. There's many blue-haired, butthurt individuals who would like to see bad things happen, not just to the president, but anybody who looks at him with any type of esteem. So let's just move on here. Then somebody reports, right? I saw this at first, and I was like, let me wait until this develops a little more. Trump Las Vegas Cybertruck bomber identified as 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger of Colorado Springs. FBI executed a search warrant on his home. And then here, local media reports he has military experience similar to the New Orleans attacker. Heavily armed police have been entering the area around the suspect's home. So when I first heard that, I was like, huh, it's very interesting. Then more people came out and started talking about this guy as well. This is actually his face, what he looks like. And if you notice here, he's wearing, that's actually a Ukrainian symbol. Where is that symbol? No, it's not there. But that's a Ukrainian symbol that he's wearing. Now, I don't know what connection that has. It is just a picture of him. Who knows what he's actually connected to? But he does have military experience. And a lot of people started talking about this guy. Again, Matthew Livelsberger, a.k.a. Matt Berg, I believe people used to call him. 37-year-old, identified as the driver of the Cybertruck that exploded in Las Vegas, is listed on LinkedIn as a operations director and intelligence manager with special forces experience. You know what that looks like to me. I mean, at this point, you guys should just be walking in with your tinfoil Speedos on. I mean, this looks bad. Operations director, intelligence manager, remote automotive systems, special forces, Green Beret. Very, very interesting. Tim Kennedy actually comments on this as well. I'll show you that in a second. But, speaking about making ties between this gentleman and that guy, both just guys, terrorists, pretty much. This guy, New Orleans guy, 100% a terrorist. This guy, it's still developing what he was doing. Was he just against Donald Trump? Was he a full-blown, sleeper cell of ISIS, MK Ultra? Who knows right now? But this person wrote, 2 American veterans are radicalized to commit acts of terror on the same day, got vehicles from the same company, both served at the same military base, Fort Bragg, the same military base that Ryan Roth visited over 100 times before trying to assassinate Donald Trump. Now that, and again, let's take this for what it's worth. Someone wrote this, okay? But if that's true, then tinfoil Speedo on. I'm leaning towards MK, I gotta say. I mean, this looks very weird. But again, not even weird. This looks sinister at this point. We're talking about Ryan Roth. If you don't know who he is, he's the gentleman that was holding the AK-47 at the golf course, who's trying to position himself to take shots at Trump while Trump was playing golf. Visited the place 100 times. Then we're talking about Fort Bragg here. They both did it on the same day. There's a connection here. This can't, at this point, again, if all this is true, that cannot be a coincidence. It just can't, But again, we're pulling from different directions because people are saying that this guy was flying an ISIS flag, and there's not much known about what this guy was doing. I mean, people don't even really know how the car went off. So they don't even know if there was a bomb involved. They don't know if it was just fireworks. They don't know what this guy was doing. But also, this guy here, like Ryan Roth, who's mentioned in this little article, both of them have some kind of tie to Ukraine. Now, I don't know what it is, and I'm not saying Ukraine is responsible at all. I'm not saying that. But just the fact that he has that symbol on his shirt, Ryan Roth also was heavily involved in Ukraine. It shows that there's some kind of connection there. Again, the story is just developing, so I just wanted to show you where it was at and what it developed into. It's very, very... And then Tim Kennedy himself, who is a Green Beret sniper, he said, anyone know Matt Livelsberger, a.k.a. Matt Berg, an 18Z and former 18E, allegedly the driver of the rented Cybertruck that detonated in front of Las Vegas, Nevada Trump Tower. So Tim Kennedy just puts that out there. Does anyone know him? I guess that's also him kind of saying that he didn't know him at all, which, possible that, Tim just didn't run into this guy, never heard of this guy. He is much younger than Tim. Then Tim Kennedy also posts this. He says, Mr. Sean Ryan and TPA Sarah, what's her actual name? Sarah Adams, on weeks ago, and they discussed the terrorist attack in New Orleans with uncanny accuracy. Now, it's not just the fact that she was talking about the person in New Orleans. If you listen to this, she's talking about exactly what has happened in the past few days. Now, if you don't know, it's been what happened in New Orleans, what happened in front of Trump Tower, and apparently there was a mass shooting in New York. This is all within, I want to say, 24 hours. Very interesting. So she pretty much predicted exactly what's gone on in the past 24, 48 hours. Interesting. Okay. Tim Kennedy's kind of puts this out. He doesn't really, it's not like he's congratulating. It's not like he's pumped about what they've said. He just kind of puts it out there that they've predicted this with uncanny accuracy. And I have to just say, first off, I'll touch on what she actually talked about. The same way that we have people who go to Africa, we'll have guys who are special forces, Delta Force, and, they'll be black, and they'll go to Africa and they'll infiltrate, what is that? Boko Haram, I think it's called. They'll infiltrate things like that. They have white guys who can infiltrate Russian and Ukrainian type of, cells or, organizations. They'll have Asian guys. They have people who don't look like the regular American and can learn languages very fast and infiltrate. Now, the same could happen. The inverse could also happen. So what she's saying sounds very true. Now, I'm going to just put on my tinfoil Speedo. It's very odd. And again, I'll let you guys know, I like Sean Ryan. I like Sean Ryan a lot. Okay. I want to cover his topics, his podcast way more on this channel. In fact, I think he's great. Loved his appearance on Rogan. But when you're telling me a CIA agent, which is her, and an ex-CIA contractor, which is him, both sit back. First off, this is not the first time Sean Ryan's talked about this on his podcast, but you're telling me that they're on this podcast. She says all of this, and then weeks later, all of this happens. I'm not gonna say anything, but it's very coincidental, almost as coincidental. And again, love Sean Ryan, not saying that he did anything, but it's just, we're getting to a point where there's a lot of people who are either in intelligence or around it, and we're listening to them like, oh, this guy's going to bring us the truth. With Tucker Carlson, I was fine. Mainstream guy, left mainstream, okay. Mike Baker, he's on Rogan all the time, and I'm like, I can't, I like that he makes Joe talk about politics stuff. I liked what he brings out of Joe, but I'm just like, this guy, there is no ex-agent, in my opinion. So when I hear him talk, I'm like, if it makes sense, I can go with it. But the whole time, I'm like, this guy's an agent. And now we're at a point where one of the top two podcasts, because Sean Ryan hits like number 2, he's an ex-CIA contractor. He's talking to a CIA agent. And then all this happens after she predicts it. I'm just like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Because all I can say is if all of this leads to like, hey, listen, guys, we're just bringing you the truth and we're just telling you you're not safe. And it turns out we were right. I'm like, I don't know about all this. You know what I mean? It's just too many coincidences, too many people from agencies just bringing us the truth. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know, man. It's just too many. And you want those opinions because they have inside information. But at the same time, you're like, what is going on right now? Two people affiliated with the agency just said, hey, just so you know, you're not safe. And then weeks later, what they talked about happens. You just got to kind of sit back and be like, are you working on martial law right now? And they're like, whoa, I don't even know anybody named Marshall. What are you talking about? Not me. Huh? Who said Marshall? What do you mean? Marshall Mathers? Eminem? I don't know Eminem. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know, man. I don't know what this is leading to, but it's leading somewhere. We've had 3 things happen in at least 24, 48 hours, and none of them look good. And all of them are being very, I don't want to say very open-ended. You don't know about the guy with New Orleans. He's passed away. The other guy, Matt Berg, he's passed away. This thing that happened in New York, which I have to look into more, I've only just heard about it. Who knows what happened to that person who was, shooting. I don't know. I don't know what it's leading to, but I did want to just bring you that information dump really quick so you can just have a good understanding of, what this was, what it's morphing into, and all the coincidences that seem to be gathering up throughout this whole thing, Again, I do like to trust podcasters. I trust Sean Ryan. I've even said it. I've said, out of all the guys who have that affiliation, he doesn't seem like one of those guys, So I've said that before, but also, again, tinfoil Speedo, it's like, you can't just look at everybody and just be like, these are all the good guys, I love the Trump administration. I love what he's putting together, but I always keep in the back of my mind, I'm like, you guys still got to watch these guys. You know what I mean? I can't just be like rosy colored glasses and just like love all of them. You still got to watch what's going on. I'm still having conversations behind the scenes like, well, Trump called Vivek a snake, and now Vivek's doing this H-1B thing right before Trump gets in office. It's like, why is he doing that? He's smart enough to know not to have this conversation right now. He's smart enough to know to have a conversation like that a little quieter. Why is he doing that now? What did Trump know about him that he didn't make him the vice president? It made sense that Vivek would be the vice president. He put him in a position where he could watch him, where he was doing something where it's just, you're going to cut $2 trillion. That's it. That's where I want you. Trump did that intentionally because, again, he made sense to be VP, but he wasn't. I don't get it. He put everybody in positions where they could do real change on the inside. Kash Patel, Tulsi, he put those people dead inside. Put Vivek in this new thing. Now Vivek's doing that. Again, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying I keep the tinfoil Speedo on and I think about these things. I don't live there. I've mentioned this before. You can't live with the tinfoil Speedo on. You got to take it off. You got to keep it on for a couple, maybe 3 hours a day. But then you got to take it off. You know what I mean? You got to take it off. It chafes. You don't want to get a rash, So I don't live there. And then I come back to regular land and I say Vivek's fantastic. That's what you got to do. Anyways, guys, I'm rambling here. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and I will bring you anything that develops about this. I'm going to talk about this more with Hank when we do our weekly breakdown of news stories. We're probably going to talk about the New Orleans. We're going to talk more about the Cybertruck. We're going to touch on what happened in New York. And anything else that's happening. I guess we'll wrap up the H-1B visa debate that's going on because Steve Bannon kind of has gone off on Elon. But other than that, whatever else is really big that's happening, we'll touch on. But that'll be the main of that episode for sure. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.